Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're jumping into Unit 3, and we're going to talk about two things that are absolutely essential for your future: group discussions and meetings. By the time we're done here, you'll have a clear game plan to not just participate, but to really shine.
So let's start with a really common feeling. You know that moment when you're in a group, your heart starts pounding, and you're scrambling for the right thing to say? Yeah, that's a super common fear, but believe me, it's one we can definitely get past.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to flip that anxiety into pure confidence by giving you a super practical toolkit. We'll break down the rules of the game, share some powerful phrases you can use, and show you how to prepare so you can walk into any group situation feeling totally ready.
All right, let's dive right into part 1. We're going to crack the code on what a group discussion, or GD as you'll often hear it called, really is, and why it's such a big deal.
First off, a GD is not just a casual chat with your friends. Think of it more like a structured conversation where a small group gets together to really dig into a specific topic, share different viewpoints, and maybe even solve a problem.
So why should you care about getting good at these? Well, because GDs are literally everywhere. In your classes, they're perfect for brainstorming, but listen up, in job interviews, they're a huge deal. Recruiters are listening to what you say, for sure, but they're also watching how you think, how you work with others, and whether you show any leadership potential.
Now, this is super important to get. The whole vibe of a GD totally changes depending on where you are. In class, it's all about learning together, and your teacher is there to help. But in a job interview, it's a whole different ballgame. The interviewer is just watching, silently, to see who stands out as a good communicator. You have to adjust your entire strategy. Okay, a good group discussion isn't just chaos, right? It's not a free-for-all. To make sure the conversation actually goes somewhere and everyone feels included, there are a few basic ground rules that everyone needs to play by.
Just think of these as the 5 golden rules. First, stick to the topic. Don't go off on a tangent. Second, take turns. And remember, listening is just as important as talking. Third, treat everyone like an equal with respect. Fourth, be reasonable. Don't be stubborn. Be open to new ideas. And fifth, speak your mind, but always be willing to listen. These rules are what make a discussion work.
Okay, this one is a game changer. How you disagree. It's totally okay to have a different opinion, but it's all about how you say it. Instead of just shutting someone down with, "No, I don't agree," try something like, "That's an interesting point, but I see it a bit differently because." See the difference? It's about being constructive, not confrontational.
As a GD gets going, you'll start to see different roles pop up naturally. You might have a team captain who keeps everyone on track, or an encourager who makes sure the quiet people get a chance to speak. The pro tip for you is to pay attention to these roles. You can show real leadership by stepping into a role the group needs at that moment.
All right, so we've got GDs down. Now let's build on that and jump into part 2, mastering meetings. A lot of the skills are the same, but meetings are, well, a more formal and structured world.
So what exactly is a meeting? It's basically a formal get-together to get something done, like making a big decision. The big difference from a GD is that a meeting is way more controlled. There's usually someone in charge, like a chairperson, and a strict list of things to cover. And what's the heart of any good meeting? It's the agenda. Seriously, the agenda is everything. It's the roadmap that tells everyone why they're there and what needs to happen. A meeting that doesn't have an agenda is almost always a waste of everyone's time. Being great in a meeting actually starts way before you even walk in the door. It's all about preparation. You've got to read the agenda, get your thoughts and materials together, and even think about what questions people might ask you. When you show up prepared, it shows you respect everyone else's time. And what you do as a participant, it's just as important as the person leading the meeting. Seriously. These simple rules of etiquette make a huge difference. Get there on time, listen more than you talk, let people finish their sentences, and please put your phone on silent and away. It shows you're actually engaged. All right, let's get to the really practical stuff. This is part 3, and I'm going to give you a whole communication phrasebook, a toolkit of things you can say to sound confident and clear in any discussion or meeting. So, when you're ready to share your opinion, how you start makes a big difference. Using an opener like "in my view" or "it seems to me" is a simple, confident way to signal that you have something to add. For example, "In my view, we should probably focus on the marketing aspect first." It's clear and direct. Look, you want to avoid interrupting if you can, but sometimes you just have to ask for clarification. If you absolutely must jump in, do it politely. Something like, sorry to interrupt, but really softens it. For instance, sorry to interrupt, but could you clarify what you mean by phase 2? It shows you're paying attention.
And what happens when someone interrupts you? Hey, you have every right to finish what you were saying. You can politely take back the floor by saying something like, if I may just finish my point, it's calm, it's firm, and it works.
You know how easily misunderstandings can happen, right? The best way to stop them is to check that you've got it right, just by asking. So what you're saying is, you make sure everyone is on the same page before moving on. It saves so much time.
Woo! Okay, we've covered a ton. So let's wrap this up with part 4, a quick summary to make sure all these key ideas really stick. So let's boil it all down. Remember, group discussions are great for brainstorming and seeing how people think. Meetings are more formal, and they live and die by their agenda. For both, preparation is absolutely key. Good etiquette, being respectful and listening, is non-negotiable. And finally, use your words as a tool. Be polite, be clear, and you'll do great. So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Out of everything we talked about, which skill are you going to practice first? Maybe you'll focus on preparing better for your next class discussion, or maybe you'll try using one of those polite phrases. Just pick one small thing and start there. That's how real confidence is built. For more clear explanations and daily IGNOU videos, subscribe to IGNOU Mind Decoded.